As black men are losing their economic status and having to do more to prove their masculinity, do you think that they're more likely to be promiscuous or violent to prove their masculinity? And do you think that that's probably a fear, or maybe black women don't feel totally comfortable marrying them if they don't feel safe and if they don't feel like they're going to be have a faithful partner?
Whew, you would cut to the chase, huh?
Sorry.
Man. So I should say I would check the data. So let me say that, no. So let me say that, I mean, the domestic violence, I actually did look at that. And there was a part in the book that I had before on domestic violence. And it's really hard to interpret all of that research because there's so many reporting biases that come in. I mean, we have good data about murders, but we don't have good data about violence and other, in less serious forms. So that's not in the book. We do actually have data about sexual behaviors, which is self-reported again, and there is evidence actually that shows that black men, well, there's lots of it. There's evidence that shows that black men are less inclined to want to marry because they are less likely to think that marriage would be beneficial sexually. Right? Whereas white men are more likely to think that marriage would be beneficial in terms of your sexual life.
Can I ask this?
So,
is there data that shows that black men, married black men, are more inclined to be unfaithful?
And there actually is evidence that supports that as well. That when you control for all the other factors that you might think would associate with infidelity, religion, liberal attitudes towards sex, so forth and so on, when you control for all these other attitudes, there is a racial gap there. And this is not to say that all or most black men are unfaithful or fall into that category, right? But it is to say that in the aggregate, there is a racial gap, and it is the case that in the aggregate, black men are more likely to have more than one partner at a time, and that's true whether they're married or whether they're single. So that's true. And my explanation for that would be that it's not about the men having bad moral values or being morally deficient. It's really a result of the market, right? And when the market is so favorable, men are less likely to maintain a committed relationship. And researchers have actually made the same arguments in the context of whites.
Looking at college campuses. Moral issue? Yeah. It's just no.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's not a moral issue. I'm just saying that black men are no more or less immoral, dishonest, whatever, than anyone else, right? That's the point. That's the point. I'm saying that if you look at, so some researchers have looked at gender ratios on college campuses, and their argument is that when men are in short supply, so if you have a college campus with 35% men and 65% women, committed relationships are less common, multiple partners are more common, men are having sex with more people. And they're less likely to want to agree to a committed relationship, whereas if the gender ratios are reversed and women are in short supply and men are abundant, then the women have more power, and the women, according to these researchers, they don't want multiple partner relationships. They tend to want a boyfriend. And so you're more likely to have committed relationships on those campuses. So the point there is that it's the market rather than the values that individuals, or that it's the market that distinguishes the situation of African Americans and others, right? And so this is why the skewed numbers are a problem, right? When you have twice as many women graduating from college as men, that's a recipe for a disaster, even if everyone acts rationally and in the same fashion as other people would given similar circumstances.
So raising the economic status of black men will be essential for black women and the mating.
That would be a good thing.
Quality.
Yes, if we and this is not, yes, it would be a good thing for marriage. It would be a good thing for African Americans generally. It would be a good thing for children if black men were doing better. If black men were doing better, more men would have relationships with their children, because a primary reason that black men lose relationships with their children is that they're not married to the mother. And a primary reason they're not married to the mother is that they're not bringing enough to the table to make it sensible in the mother's eyes for her to stay with them. and they're not stable enough, and so forth. So if more black men were doing better, they'd be more likely to stay married to the mother. If they stay married to the mother, they're more likely to have a relationship with their child, and that would be that would be good for everyone. And the same analysis applies to whites and other groups. So it's not limited to African Americans.